We're going to roll with the punches here.
All right, do I need to leave this on then? Are you still trying to record?
I can record so that we can publish this later, but if you want, it's up to you.
All right, now people are coming back. All right, so Lisa Vanny is watching. Thanks for coming back. Yeah, we don't know what was wrong. Everything when we run the diagnostic appears to be looking fine, and then when we press play to go, we're getting that weird audio.
Yep.
So now we just went back and just plugged it back in the old way, the way that we were doing it before, with the little mini speaker and all that other stuff. So we have a little bit of troubleshooting that we're going to still need to work on. But thanks for coming back. Thanks for bearing with us. Sorry about that.
Can you guys hear me okay? I sound super loud. Am I too loud? Let me know.
Way to be tenacious.
Tenacious D.
Do you know Jack Black has a channel now where he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff for, not to mention the fact that he's normally a pretty crazy person, but
right.
He's doing all this stuff out of his house to keep people entertained on YouTube.
Some video dancing that he was doing.
He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And that guy is nuts.
Am I too loud? Susie Kennedy, am I too loud?
Deb Penrod is watching. Trinita Lindsay is watching. Thanks for bearing with us through
thanks for coming back. We appreciate it.
Technical difficulties. Every day. I love Jack Black. I remember going to see his movie, the Orange County movie, and I just was losing it in the movie theater, like rolling around on the floor watching. And Nacho Libre, oh my God, that movie is so good. Katie Clark Potpinko.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us on this Monday morning. I swear we are not celebrating 420. That is not why we had technical difficulties.
I wish I could celebrate 420. I looked into getting a medical marijuana card because I thought that it might help me with some of my issues.
Your PTSD, it's really.
Yeah, it said that, and then I have the back problems.
Yeah.
But it cancels out your concealed weapon permit.
Oh, sure. Well, you have to decide which liberty you want more.
I'm sticking with the Second Amendment.
Guns one.
Rhonda Smith.
Good morning, Rhonda. Hi, thank you for watching.
So we got a watcher from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Marissa Swiderski is in. Lisa Van is saying, life is a technical difficulty.
It sure is.
Yeah. Deb Penron said, we sound fine. I may be the last person on earth to know this, but the Facebook page says there's a minute delay between your live going on with my screen right now. Yeah, we know that there was a delay. At one point when we were first queuing this up, Amy and I actually got a stopwatch out and timed it. That day it was a 9-second delay.
Yeah, 9 or 15 or whatever, but yeah, there is a little bit of a delay.
So Amy's saying that Katie Clark Potpinko has to work today.
She has to work today.
Or I would be over. Yes. Oh, I know what she's talking about.
I got you.
All right. Thank you.
Leave it at that.
Yes, Judy Green, the executive producer, is tuning in.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. Good Monday morning.
So
Back at it. It's a serious day today. Lots of stuff going on.
There is
Pottstown kids are virtual schooling.
Yeah, so
virtual schooling today?
Yeah, Adam started that up this morning. Now he's typically an early riser, so he got up and logged into his classroom. He didn't tell me that he had any trouble getting on or getting it done. Now the high school kids should already know how to use their Chromebooks.
Yeah, they're already locked into that portal or whatever, right?
They've already been doing it. But Adam said that he was able to complete his work in about an hour or an hour and a half. So he's done.
So if all of the teachers are watching, they're going to really amp it up.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say anything. But here's what I am saying. If you're concerned about it, if you're a parent who's concerned about, oh my God, how am I going to teach my kid all day long? It's not taking my child all day. So it might take some kids longer than others, but
Right.
Adam was able to bang it out in about an hour and a half this
Yeah,
morning.
then you can spend the rest of the day supplementing, augmenting.
Yeah, so
whatever.
Adam's into photography, so he's, for instance, been helping Kev, and Adam likes to go fishing, so he's been going fishing with me, and he actually has been pretty responsible in taking. I asked him to do some things like clean up his room,
Sure.
vacuum clean. He's
Yeah,
been
clean
doing
up
all.
around the house.
Yeah, he's been doing, and he broke his toe.
Oh no.
But that's healed up now, so he's been going out and taking a run. Like usually sometime in the morning he'll take off and go
And
out.
typically he'd be in track.
He'd be doing
and
track.
field, right?
He'd be doing track right now. Yep.
So he's got to stay in shape. Does he do cross country in the fall?
No, Adam plays
Okay.
soccer.
Right, yeah.
Adam
So
was
still
the
wants-
goalie for the soccer team this year for the Pottstown Trojans Soccer Club, which is a very challenging position for someone on the Pottstown Trojans Soccer Club.
Yeah.
He told me the one game, he's like, Dad, I had 21 saves today. I was like, oh my God.
They need to build their D a little bit more.
Yeah, little more D. Kenny Butler is watching from Christian, Kenny Butler from Christian Victory Life Center. Kenny's one of our community leaders that tunes in from time to time. Yeah, my child is motivated. Yeah, Adam's a pretty serious dude.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it might take another kid a little bit more time, but I don't think it's not like your kid's sitting there for a full class day.
Right,
You know
for
what I
40
mean?
minutes each class.
I guess at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to dissuade people's fears from. Don't
Right.
think that you're going to have to sit there for 8 hours
Right.
watching over your kid making stuff gets done, because it's not that grueling.
Right. Well, they may ramp it up later. You know, they're all kind of trying to get a feel for what's appropriate levels, I'm sure.
Yeah. Joe Rusevich is saying, spoken like a proud grandmother.
Of course.
I'm a pretty proud dad, but Adam is he's a pretty smart fellow. He plays 3 instruments and good at sports. And Jessica Cedars.
Hey, Jess.
Jessica, I sent you a link through my private Facebook page to that Restaurant Strong Grant program from I sent you that link today from that Restaurant Strong program from Samuel Adams. Make sure you look into that. It's $1,000 for restaurants and restaurant workers that are being impacted by COVID-19.
Yeah.
Somebody's just sending me a text message because I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I wasn't planning on shooting on my phone. If anybody's friends with Andrew Monastra, tell them that we're on the air now. We just had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Nicole Vickers Matz is watching.
Hey, everyone.
So yeah, the school back. High school kids are already starting their work. All kids have to log in or send an email so that they can get their participation there. What is it called? Their attendance counted.
So they're not truant.
And then next week, the middle school is going to start their work, and then the week after that, the elementary school is going to start their work, because the Chromebooks are new to the middle school and
Right. They
elementary
have
school.
a learning curve.
They
Get up
have
to
some.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so Jessica's saying she did apply at one place. I'll look at that. Yeah, so the first one that I found for restaurant workers was the Restaurant Association Workers of America or something like that. That was the first grant. That was $500. This next grant that I found is called Restaurant Strong from Sam Adams. That's $1,000.
Right. So those are for workers, not for the businesses themselves?
It said both. It
Okay.
said the Restaurant Strong one is for restaurants and restaurant workers.
Okay. There's another, since we're talking about small business grants, the Save Small Business Grant application process opens at noon today. I got up early to try to apply for that, and when I logged on, it said it was opening at noon. So that is at savesmallbusiness.com. It is for small businesses, I believe 3 to 12 or 3 to 20 workers, employees in qualifying zip codes. And Pottstown is a qualifying zip code. So 19464 definitely is a zip code that is blighted or whatever. There's like not blighted, that's the wrong word, but in need.
Yeah, so
if you're a small business in Pottstown, go on at noon and apply for that SaveSmallBusiness.com. I think you need your W-9 for your business and some other information. It's a pretty quick application, I am told.
and that's the one from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
I called my buddy down in Maryland after I heard about that to get him plugged into that because he's a member of the Chamber of Commerce in Hagerstown, but he missed out on that PPP loan for whatever reason.
Although I think they're getting close to being able to approve more funding.
Well, did
for
you
that.
see Shake Shack gave their money back because they realized that it really wasn't for them, so they were nice enough to give their money
$10
back.
million. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll go to help out some other people. But yeah, and I know through some of the work that I'm involved with in the community that there is going to be some other grants that are going to be coming down the pike. Like we talked about before, Tri-County Chamber of Commerce, the Tri-County Network, and Pottstown Area Health and Wellness are all working together to try to identify those funding sources and needs within the community. I heard one of the things that they're talking about doing is trying to get together basically like a working group of grant writers who have been successful so that they can give some advice and some guidance to other organizations to help them try to get through the grant process.
Great.
I know
that could be a little overwhelming.
I know that that's one of the things that they're working on. It's not here yet, and I'm kind of a little bit plugged into that system, and as soon as I can start talking about it and telling people where to go, I will. Kelly Wolfel is watching.
And my mom is watching. Hi, Mom.
There was something else. There was another good segue in that.
As per usual, Matt forgot his notebook, so I have a whole list here, but does PICO, is that what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, there's assistance from PICO, so they have the COVID-19 response community assistance or customer assistance program, something like this. But it's PICO, Philadelphia Electric Company. If you go onto their website, there's information about it, but they are basically slowing down their collections process.
Yeah.
They're turning people back on who have been turned off, and that program is being extended at least. This is what their website said.
Yeah.
At least until June 1st.
Right, so they are extending, they won't be issuing late fees.
That's right.
They won't be doing shutoffs.
That's right.
For non-payment, and people that have been recently shut off will be
Turn back on. Yep, and that they said in their literature that they are going to extend that program to at least June 1st.
That should be helpful for some folks, sure.
Bronwyn D. Maceo is watching. Bronwyn painted the chair that I sponsored last year for the library's
nice.
charity
I understand she's
event.
painting a chair again this year.
She did good work. It was the Clifford the Big Red chair. William Paul Barogli Esquire is saying...
Bill's name is our check, our sound check.
It is. It is. Groovy scarf, Amy.
Thank you.
How does Matt forget this notebook? So here's what happens, and I'll tell you what happens, and I'm not justifying it, I'm just explaining it. I was sitting in my dining room taking my notes for the show, and my notepad is there, and I'm writing on it, and I think I'm all good to go. And then I get up, I start getting my stuff together, I think I have everything, and I never remember to take the notebook up off of the table and put it in my stuff. You know what got me out of my...
wet with ink, with all the information.
with all the stuff I want to talk about. But here's also what happened. I changed my little routine today because I had to remember to bring my son's camera for Kevin to look at, because my son has a really nice camera, and it's one of the cameras that we're going to use moving forward. So that threw my morning routine off.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. We'll get through it.
But now William Paul Burgley knows the whole story. Weren't you glad that you heard that? Trinita Lindsay wants to know how
How's my chair doing?
I guess other people are donating to the library's charity event.
Oh, that's a perfect segue. I read in the paper this morning that this is National Library Week.
Ooh. So
So they would typically have big, national or libraries across the country would be having big celebrations and programs for National Library Week, and obviously they're adapting to have programs online instead of in person. So I did go to the Pottstown Regional Public Library website this morning to take a look, and they have their website is really easy to navigate. There's like a strip across the top that has different resources. Specifically, they have what's called Libby, which is an app which allows you to read books online. It's like an e-reader, so you can download that app. They have something called Hoopla, where you can use your library card to stream movies and shows. I did not look into that. I just read the description, but that sounds pretty interesting.
What's
so if
that
you have
called?
a library card,
Hoopla.
you can go on there and Hoopla. They also have a specific tab for kids resources and a specific tab for teen and tween resources, and then they have a link where you can donate online. So if you are using the library services or you are eager to support the library because you want to be able to see them open up once this is all over and continue to thrive and serve the community, please consider making your donation online. It is your regional library, so we have lots of folks that come from outside of Pottstown to use our library, which is a really wonderful place to be and a really great resource for the entire community. So support your library during National Library Week.
do it.
Yes.
And we made a commitment to talk more about the library because my stepmom, Deb Penrod.
Yeah, and it is a very, very important place in our community.
Now, we should really say, because some people, I did hear that there are some people confused about that. They were saying, well, there's Judy Greed, but then how is Deb Penrod your stepmom? Deb Penrod is not really my stepmom. I call her my stepmom because Deb Penrod at one point in time wanted to try to adopt me. But I have a real mother who loves me dearly and takes care of me tremendously. But Deb is, I call her now my stepmom. It's a term of endearment.
It's a term of endearment. We're so happy Deb moved to our neighborhood.
We are. I had a lot of fun with Deb.
So I do have a couple of other things. You want me to just mention them now?
Yeah, go throw it out.
So I saw on Facebook events this morning that on 4/22, which is Wednesday, there is a car caravan to honk for support for the medical professionals in our community. So cars are gathering at 6:45 on Wednesday evening in front of the Pottstown Post Office and driving over to the hospital and doing a drive-through and honking support. And I think that's right around the time that their shifts change, so they're hoping to be able to catch people on their shift change. And why are you making a face?
So here's the police officer in me, the former police. Does the
shift change never happen when they're supposed to happen?
Well, think about this too, like all that extra traffic around the hospital. Like, does the hospital know that this is happening?
Right,
So if there's a big traffic jam out in front of the hospital and an ambulance has to get through.
So we need to be conscientious of that.
Yeah, like
we don't want to be blocking first responders.
Yeah. It's it's the same thing too. It sounds like a great idea, and I'm sure it's solidarity. But what happens if somebody gets a hold of that picture and tries to say that it was some kind of protest blocking the hospital?
Right.
I don't know. Make sure that the hospital.
We'll look into that.
Make sure that the hospital knows what you're doing. Like, really make sure that the hospital knows what you're doing. They might not want you driving all those extra cars into the parking lot there because that's also the entrance for the ambulance. And if there's a line of 50 cars, let's say, and an ambulance has got to get through, that could really impact somebody's ability to get emergency medical treatment.
I'm going to hope that the organizers will be in tune with that and are coordinating with the hospital so that maybe there's some sort of a traffic pattern that will allow for the solidarity caravan, but also allow for first responders to be able to get in and out easily as best they can.
I hate to be a buzzkill, but 15 years in law enforcement just makes me think.
It makes you the buzzkill?
It really can. But that's what I would be worried about.
It's realistic, and you're looking at logistics and making sure that can all happen safely.
Yeah, and
be
it's
able to show
it's the
support.
same thing as those meals. You know, everybody wants to send the meals to the hospital or whatever. Make sure that you're coordinating that effort. I did reach out to the hospital and ask if there was a contact information for someone who's trying to coordinate that schedule, because I know now that they are setting up a schedule for people to send meals, because they don't want too many meals to show up at the hospital because it'll cause food waste. I'm just waiting to hear back
You're waiting to hear
who
who
that's
that
going to be.
liaison
As
is.
soon as I know who that is, I'll share that out on the air. And if you want to give meals out to the hospital, it's better to coordinate those efforts.
Yep. Yep. Of course. All right. Well, Earth
My mom
this
is-
is also Earth Day this week. Oh yes, your mom is saying thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, and she's also saying that Barnes and Nobles is getting a lot of money. So if you know, the library's cheaper than Barnes and Noble. Yeah, see, Deb Penrod is saying that you got to check with these institutions if you're going to do these drive-by. There's an area nursing home that asked for no drive-bys. It's too distracting for the people that are working there. And
Right.
again, nursing homes too need to have ability for they need to have the ability for emergency vehicles to come into those nursing homes. So
Sure.
just be careful with
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of
So
stuff.
we've got good, well-intended folks, and we just want to make sure that those good intentions are being carried out the best way for everybody involved.
And Paul is throwing out, what about patient first there on the front line too? Yeah, again, and like I'm saying, it doesn't matter who you want to give these meals to: the police, the fire, the street workers, the water workers, the sewer workers. All those people are still working through all of this stuff. If you want to give them meals, you know, I would contact the organizations or agencies that run those departments and ask them how to set up some type of schedule.
What's the best way for us
What's
to
the
show our
best
support?
way to show the support? Because we don't want to create food waste, because we're really, in some ways, we're at the beginning of this. We haven't really felt the full economic impact.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we have resources over the long haul to take care of people. And some of these systems and pathways to get help to people are new or are developing. So yeah, there could be some slowdowns at the beginning, but hopefully once everything gets up and running, it'll run smoother, and we'll be able to manage our resources better.
Right.
Along those lines, might as well talk about the cluster.
Yeah.
We talked about this yesterday on the show. I'll talk about it again today. The cluster is looking for 300 of the reusable shopping bags. They cannot take used ones, so don't
Right.
reach under your sink and grab the one that you've been taking to Aldi for the past couple of months. They're looking for wrapped or in the box, unused, reusable shopping bags.
Yeah, like the standard size.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you have a bunch that are of the same size, yes, we're trying to get as close to a standard size as we possibly can. I don't think they're going to turn away any donations, but
Right.
they are looking for new in the box or unwrapped reusable shopping bags. This is to give food out for the grocery program that the cluster is working in conjunction with the school district on. The cluster is providing shelf-stable groceries so that people can augment the lunches and the breakfasts that they're getting from the school district.
Right. So there's supplemental
That's
products.
correct.
school lunch program.
And they're coming from two different sources, but those two sources are working together to pool their
Right.
resources so that they have a greater impact. So the food comes down through the cluster. These are the groceries that people get. Like I've been packing the bags. It's canned items, rice, beans, dried pasta, canned fruit, things of that nature. And then the food that the school district gives out is the items that the children are given for their lunches and their breakfasts. And that to me looks more like fruit bars,
Like granola
breakfast
bars and those
bars,
kinds of things.
yogurts, fruit drinks, things of that nature.
Right.
So the food from the cluster is augmenting the food from the school district, and families can go to any one of the 4 elementary schools and pick up those lunches and breakfasts, and then the groceries are appearing at random times throughout the year. I'm getting a call from someone who does not know that I have a Facebook show.
Right.
So yeah, that's what's going on with the cluster.
Yep.
We're looking for those bags. Also, Audra the Hammer Ross. And Paula's reminding me fresh fruit.
Yep.
Yes, there's fresh fruit involved in some of that too. Audra the Hammer Ross sent me a link to some stuff that they're working on food security through the state with. I am familiar with some of those programs that are going on. They're trying to increase SNAP benefits. They're trying to revive some other programs that had been shut down. And then they're also trying to develop some new pathways to get food out to people who need it. I am plugged into that system through the cluster, and this week I'm going to be working with some of the folks from the cluster in order to increase the capacity to bring in perishable foods.
Right.
So hopefully, as soon as I am able to say go, I will start talking about how you can help us increase the cluster's ability to provide perishable foods.
Right. I would like to add a personal note about the cluster. Oh, I'm not going to be able to say this without crying. So one of the past presidents of the cluster board, Alan Ulchel, who is a dear friend of mine and a member of our congregation, passed away over the weekend. So I just wanted to say a thank you to Alan for all of his work with the cluster over the years and all of the work throughout the community. And we in the synagogue community are very, very sad. He was a great guy, very special to all of us.
I didn't know him well, but I had met him, and just a couple of months ago there was a what they called a president's plaque, which is a new designation at the cluster, and Alan was at the presentation for the, I think they're calling it the George Bell president's plaque, and George had been the president of the board for the Pottstown cluster, which I am a current member of. So I got to meet and interact with Alan at that event, and Alan's name is now also memorialized over at the cluster. So yes, we are paying our final respects to a very good friend and citizen, a person who cared a lot about the community and did a lot to help people.
Yep.
Everybody's sending their special thoughts and prayers, Amy.
Yeah, he was a real special guy.
So, a lot of people, Andrew Monaster's saying that Alan was a very good man. Yep.
He always sat in front of us. You know, like in church and our services, you always have your place that you sit.
Yeah.
He always sat
in front of you guys.
Right in front of us, yeah.
All right, I'm going to shift gears a little bit here. I see William Paul Broglie's names pop back up, and we are waiting for the updates on some of the changes to the notary system that Bill Broglie agreed to research. So Bill, I'm putting a little pressure on you. As soon as you have some of that stuff figured out, reach out to me. I'm going to be back up sometime this week to re-up on my worms over at Bill Broglie's house. I went out yesterday, and I don't know, I probably blew through about 30 or 40 worms. So I'm going to be back over to Bill's to dig some more.
You got to make yourself a farm of those guys.
I do have a little farm started, and there's some tiny little ones in there. I'm just waiting for them to grow.
Turn into a metropolis so you'll never run out.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. And
Thank you for the fruits of your worm efforts.
I gave Amy my trout from yesterday because she's got this Japanese style, and I'm hoping that later on in the season, if I can get a couple of more, Amy will make them for me, or Levi, whoever does it.
Since I've gutted a fish, I'm going to have to go on YouTube.
I already took care of all that for you.
Oh, you did? It's gutted already?
The guts are out, the gills are out, it's ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I'll talk to Levi about this, but it would be much better cooked over a wood fire. I might, put it on the fire pit.
On your fire pit.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'll work.
Right? Better tasting than on the gas grill.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can jerry-rig something out
Next
there.
one you get, we'll have to smoke it.
Yeah, I smoke a lot of trout, and then my dad, Art Green, is a really good cook, and he makes that smoked fish chowder.
So good. We had it at game night last year.
Ooh, that was
Very
really good.
good.
So we've talked about game night, but we never explained
I
game.
can't help myself. I'm like, how can we turn game night into a thing, like a fundraiser or something?
I don't know.
Just keep it as a fun neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't think we can make money off of wild game meat. I think that would be illegal. I'd have to check into the legalities of that.
It would be like a suggested donation.
So every year, a friend of mine who I hunt and fish with supply different game and fish animals to a dinner that we have here in the neighborhood, and we call that dinner Game Night.
Double entendre.
It's a double entendre because we
play
do
games and have games.
And it's one of the highlights of my year, actually. That's one of my favorite nights in our neighborhood. Kristen, speaking of food, Kristen Searback is watching, one of Pottstown's best bakers down at Beverly's Pastries.
And also, chef too. She cooks over at Pub sometimes.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, I'm definitely going to smoke some fish sometime this year. Game night is a lot of fun, Rachel. There's probably some people that might need to get an invitation to upcoming game nights. It only happens once a year, usually in January or February. It's a one-time deal.
We could, now that we could maybe expand it a little bit. Now that we have our, we've got that heat lamp on the front porch, we might be able to fit a few more people here.
Yeah, and I have to really get now the pressure's on. So when I go out hunting, I really have to.
You really have to provide.
Yeah, it's not just a walk in the woods anymore.
Right.
So, what else is going on?
This week is Earth Day.
What day is Earth Day? Isn't that like
22nd.
the 22nd?
Earth Day, don't treat dirt like dirt.
Maybe get out and do a little project or something in your backyard.
Yeah, let's hear what people are doing. I'll be pulling onion grass probably. I've been neglected. I've just been working so much. I've been neglecting my yard. It's looking pretty weedy out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us what you're doing for Earth Day. I know we got some very earth-friendly folks out there.
Yeah, it seems to me that our viewership leans towards
Yeah, we have a
environmentally
very
conscious.
eco-friendly viewership.
I would say that.
It seems like Pottstown as a whole is very environmentally conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been a lot of effort over the past couple of years, and that was one of the things that went on with Habitat for Humanity and Pottstown Community Action, was that they wanted to try to reduce the amount of trash and litter on the streets. And then prior to that, there was always the Pottstown Cares.
Yep,
Pottstown.
And Mosaic. The Community Land Trust.
Yep.
And other community gardens.
So yeah, there does seem to be a lot of action involved around cleaning up and taking care of the earth and all that stuff. Bronwyn is saying that she's been painting birdhouses.
Oh.
Somebody's protecting worms from me. Worms.
It's just a circle of life, Simba.
It is, and here's the thing, and so I know that there's a lot of vegans and vegetarians out there, and I don't take anything away from veganism or vegetarianism.
Everybody needs their own thing.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I know for a fact that I can face my meal. I've been in the woods, I've been on the water, I know how to face my meal, and that's how I rectify or justify eating meat, because I know where my meat comes from, because I got it.
Right. Well, I can't say that. Mine comes from Giant, but
sometimes mine comes from the grocery store too.
But I got my own health issues,
I've at least,
so I need to have meat.
I've at least justified the fact that I know where my steak comes from, and if I really needed to, I could make the steak happen.
Great. Laura Johnson, one of our school board members, is saying she just planted a new flower bed with native plants that Marissa Swiderski and her husband gave to her.
Cool.
Judy Green is looking for somebody to work in their yard.
I did start a little bit of work over at Judy Green's yard. There was a whole bunch of sticks and
maybe Adam Green shouldn't be finishing up his schoolwork so soon, or he's going to be conscripted.
He did help. He helped. He helped me rake some leaves and started getting some stuff together. I started the composter back up. So, Mom, what you can do is start collecting all those trimmings and those odds and ends from the kitchen again. The ends of vegetables and the rotten celery that you forgot about for a month.
So do you have a compost pile, or do you
I
have
have one of those.
compost?
I have the same kind that you do. That black thing that turns.
Yep.
It works pretty efficiently. I do find that you have to add more water and more green stuff to it. It needs to be damp in order to really work properly.
I had one good batch that came out of that, and then my second batch I didn't put enough like leaves and brown like organic stuff. And it wasn't composting fast enough, so I had to kind of get that going a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of the compost starter.
Yeah, I fired it up last year. It stalled out on me, and I fired it up with some wet grass, and I just sprayed it down a little
and the
bit
grass
with a
doesn't
garden
get
hose.
too, like, slimy in there?
No, because I already had some stuff in there, so I mixed it. I
Okay.
mixed it all up and then sprayed it. Add some water, and then that I moved it too. I moved it because it was too sunny area.
Oh,
I moved
okay.
it into a more sunny area, so that box heated up, and that's what it took.
Right, well, I should be good over here, because this is southern exposure, so I should be good here, where I
Okay.
am with mine in the sun.
Katie Clark Potapinko is building a new water feature this weekend.
Oh, cool.
And planted her
Can't wait to see pictures
Easter
of that.
flowers. Hey, listen, folks, all these folks that are digging in their yards and gardens, Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate is always interested in your worms. Please start a little can. You can put them out by the porch, and I will do porch side pickup.
So how would somebody keep worms safely?
Just put a little bit of dirt in an old coffee can, or like
Okay.
one of those plastic containers that you put your old you get from Chinese food.
Yeah,
Just throw them in there.
okay.
Any bucket with a little bit of dirt will do. And then let me know. I'll come pick them up, and I'll turn those worms into trout for you.
Yeah, Susie, we will take your little tree limbs. That would be great.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, we'll connect with you.
That's what I did the other day. I just burned a bunch of little tree limbs and stuff, and I'm just kind of glad that you can legally do that in the borough of Pottstown now.
Yeah, so it used to be that you could not burn a fire pit in Pottstown. The only way that you could burn a fire pit is if you had something cooking on it. So we always had the joke that we had was that we always had some pepperoni, and we would put it on a stick. And get the fire. We did get busted one time.
We did too. I used to do that over on Franklin Street, and we used to burn. And my buddy Pete had and Kenny Butler was a participant in some of this stuff. But our neighbor Pete had a refrigerator in his garage, so we'd throw a pack of hot dogs in there.
You have to have it at the ready in case the fire department comes
The
by.
fire department came in.
Yeah, here you are. We're cooking our pepperoni. Oh, Nicole was saying her plants came from House Arboretum, which is a great place. It's a really, really neat place, House Arboretum up in, I guess it's Upper Pottsgrove.
That's Upper Pottsgrove.
Yeah, they've got some really neat trails and things up there.
That's Gilbertsville Road.
Yep.
And that is a nice. They have some nice walking trails and stuff like that too. They have that old schoolhouse that they've converted into a classroom. They do all kinds of outdoor education and environmental education. I haven't been to any of their programs yet.
Yeah, they do have a lot of nice programs for kids and families.
Yeah, there are still coffee cans. I'm pretty sure there's still coffee cans. I bet you a lot of people who are doing work in their gardens.
Oh, coffee cans? Like actual cans instead of plastics?
I bet you if you go into a lot of garages and a lot of garden
There's a
sheds,
lot of rusty nails.
there's a lot of old coffee cans still
Well, we
lingering
have,
around.
I think, we have some espresso coffee, I think, that's in an actual can.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy. It could be a plastic bucket. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be there that long because if you call me and tell me they're ready, I'm coming
He's
to
going
get
to be
them.
right there. He's going to be right there for the work pickup.
What else is on our?
So that's what I had on my list.
Okay.
And you already talked about all that information that Audra gave you.
Yeah, some work that's going on at the
Put
cluster.
that up. Yeah, that was what I had on my list for today.
Well, remember, folks, too, and I'll say it again, the cluster is Pottstown's food bank. If you are planning a donation or a food drive, please contact the cluster. Work with the cluster collaboratively. And like I said before, and maybe what I forgot to mention about these new programs or these refreshed programs that are coming out from the state, they are need-based. So, and I've talked about this on other shows. If nothing else, report what you're doing to the cluster so they know, so they can count that amongst their numbers. So if there's, for instance, 5,000 meals that are given out someplace that the cluster doesn't know about, if you tell them, hey, we're doing these 5,000 meals over here at this church over this period of time, then the cluster can add that to the overall community need. That way we will get more money. It's just like the census. You have to report the numbers in order to get the money for the census. That's one of those programs that, for instance, the Chamber of Commerce that is talking about these low demographic area or low income areas. Well, guess how they determine that? They determine that through the census. One of the ways that they determine that. So fill out your census. We talk about that on a regular basis. If your church organization is doing food security, report what you're at the very least, report what you're doing to the Pottstown cluster. Again, nobody wants to take your flag away from you. Just report what you're doing to the cluster. And there's a lot of people that are working with the cluster now so that they can get a better idea of what's going on in the neighborhood. Ray Amori, who just popped up. Ray donated some stuff to the cluster. He was given some help with PPE, and he wanted to pay it forward, and he donated a box of gloves to the cluster.
Yeah. Brooke Martin is watching. We know she's environmentally friendly.
Kenny.
Brooke posts her good meals every day.
Yes, and she's into that pickling stuff and all that stuff. Here's what I would like to do. I'd like to learn how to make sauerkraut.
Yeah, she does that fermenting and pickling. We're going to come to your porch, Brooke.
Sauerkraut's really easy.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I've just never done it.
My mom and I have done it loads of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
So good for you.
Yeah, you can have a fire pit now. Fire pits are legal in the borough of Pottstown. I'm not sure about a burn. Like, I wouldn't be in my backyard, like, stacking big 4 and 5 foot piles of brush. But I guess if you were careful about it, you could burn that stuff down in your fire pit. But yes, Kenny, they changed the rules on that.
Yeah, that was with the new fire chief that came in a few years ago.
Maybe Trinita Lindsay would want to update us on what the new regulations are.
Yeah, that was a big popular move when the new fire chief came in and relaxed that regulation.
Yeah, and I was predicting doom and gloom, like people burning whole couches in their backyard. Maybe I shouldn't give anybody any ideas.
Yeah, well now you have bulk trash pickup. You can have one bulk trash pickup item per week in Pottstown. You don't have to get a sticker for it anymore. So I think that will alleviate anyone's need to burn a couch. They might want to burn a couch, but they don't need to get rid of it anymore.
Judy Green's saying that her and my dad made sauerkraut. I never made it with you. You did that on your own. You didn't even invite me. You didn't invite your son.
You probably ate it, though. You missed out on the sauerkraut making festivities.
I'm down for going to Brooke Martin's house if she is willing to have us. I think that would be a good porch cast.
Yeah, I would love that.
And we probably have like a whole list of. We should start making notes about who we're going to visit and for what reason. Yeah, there's a bunch of people that have agreed that we can come and talk to them.
I'm just writing down porches to visit.
Porches to visit, yeah. Brooke Martin, Ray Amori. Who else wants us to come? Susie Kennedy.
I want to talk to them about why they moved to Pottstown.
Yeah. And we're going to start, and I know that William Paul Brogley wants us to come up to his house, but
we can go in his front window.
We could. His front window.
We could do a window cast.
We could do a window cast at his. We're going to hit the borough first, and then we'll be out to see the Grovers.
Yeah.
And then if any Fivers ever buy a T-shirt, we'll come down to Fiverland too.
We will get our travel visa, and we will come across the river.
Yeah, I'll get my pass to cross the border.
We were talking about going to someplace, a Mexican restaurant, and Amy and I were like, "Oh, Limerick, that's so far. We'd never go anywhere. Why would we leave Pottstown?"
I don't know anything about chickens being allowed to be in Pottstown. I was.
Yeah, so that was a question that someone brought up to me recently.
You know what?
Do either of our council members that are on Lisa or Trinita, either one of you know anything about chickens?
Can I tell you that's a horrible idea?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm serious. And I would love to see people have chickens and all that stuff, but the whole reason chickens got banned was because there are some people in town who use those chickens to literally terrorize a neighborhood. They had a rooster and all these chickens.
I'm not talking about having any rooster.
Well,
that
see,
is crazy.
it literally caused an enormous problem. When I was a cop, we dealt
Why
with
did
that.
the rooster get loose?
Listen,
I would like to hear this story.
maybe when we do, it's a long and complicated story that ultimately wound up in the Court of Common Pleas. I'm not even joking.
Whoa.
I'm not even joking.
Wow. Okay.
If you bring chickens back, you're going to really have to be careful with that because, like I said, and I know these people are still in town, and I tell you, the second they're allowed to have chickens, they are going to fire it right back up to where they were before.
Wow.
It caused a problem.
Big chicken controversy.
Elizabeth Yoder, a grover, is somebody who lives in Potts Grove. A grover. A fiver is someone who lives in 19465 zip code. Fivers.
Know your Pottstown terms.
And grovers. Now we have all kinds of names for neighborhood people here in Pottstown.
Oh yeah, within the 4.
There's Nohano. That's our neighborhood.
That's our neighborhood.
There's Fringers.
There's Fringers. That's up where Trinita lives and Darlene.
Yeah, like starting around like Oak Street, I would say. That's
There's
a Fringer.
the number streets
I'm gonna for the time being, I'm putting the numbers
in the fringe. Mm-hmm.
But maybe we'll just call them the numbers,
The numbers.
right?
Right.
So yeah, we have all different kind of things. Now, what I was mentioning about earlier, as far as the fivers, during our T-shirt drive, and we still are selling those T-shirts. In fact, we need a few more orders for Jason to fire up the printing press. And then I'm not using that Potts Vegas anymore because I don't think it's positive. A lot of people use Potts Vegas to talk about all the things that they don't like about Pottstown. I'm staying away from Potts Vegas. I'm going a whole different route. I'm going positive. But anyway, Pottstown.
Just in case anyone's not sure where I live.
In the faux 194. What's your area called, Andrew? I don't know. We'll have to come up with the east side of town.
Yeah, that's just the.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't have a nickname for that.
No.
I would just call that the east side.
East side,
It's
maybe.
not even all the way on the east side. Kind of.
Something will come to us. I don't want to force it. But anyway, the T-shirt.
We have to be very organic with our names.
We need people to buy some more T-shirts because Jason has to have a minimum order, and I think we need 9 more shirts now at this point.
Correct.
We need 9 more shirts. So Pottstown, people from the 1946 FO have stepped up to the plate and bought a lot of T-shirts. Grovers stepped up to the plate and bought
Very
T-shirts.
Strong. Very strong.
No fiver has bought a T-shirt. You fivers, come on, man. I would love to talk positive. I would love to bring Porchcast to the fives, but you guys got to buy a T-shirt. We're supporting local business with the T-shirt. $5 of every T-shirt sale is going to the Pottstown cluster. If we can get that donation in, it's literally going to double our donation. So the 5 from the T-shirt is actually become a 10 from the T-shirt. So we need to get those 9 more T-shirts sold, and we need the fivers to step up to the plate.
What's 19464.5? What is that, Deb?
0.5. 19464.5.
I don't know what that is.
That's like maybe somebody.
Riverside Bar?
Someone has like a houseboat on the river.
That would be Bill Robley if he moved into his houseboat on the river he's always talking about, right?
Or maybe somebody that lives in Pottstown for half the year, and then they go to Florida or something.
Yeah, or they live in town, but they have a country house in the 5.
Yeah, Kenny Greavy might be partially responsible for Potts Vegas. And at one point in time, I thought Potts Vegas was kind of funny and fun. But now there's a lot of people there's this page that they started, and they're calling it Potts Vegas, and it's nothing but just trash about Pottstown.
No,
and I'm tired.
That.
I'm tired.
I don't subscribe to any of those pages.
I'm tired of trashing
I know.
Pottstown. There's just so much good, positive stuff here, and I'm done. So anyway, I'm not dealing with any more Potts. Jason's saying he's a Manor marauder. So the Manor is that's the neighborhood just to the west of Route 100 there, on the other side from like where Patient First is. Okay. So you cross over on King Street. That neighborhood of those Levitt towns, that's the style of those houses.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay. Over by where Barth is, like going over
Yeah,
to Barth.
that's-
okay.
that's
so is there,
Pottsgrove.
like Cape Cod's over there?
Yeah, that's Pottsgrove Manor.
The Manor Marauder. I love it.
Brian Parks from Tri-County Active Adult just emailed me. They are looking for volunteers for their seniors.
Right.
Tri-County Active Adult. That's
Yeah,
the
Nicole, if you can get us the contact information, we'll put that in the show, in the links.
Elizabeth. Yes, Elizabeth Yoder. You were raised and born and bred in Pottstown, but now you moved and you are a Grover. You moved your designation.
No judgment.
No judgment. There's nothing wrong with Grovers.
Right, Paul Bickelman, you are right. If you don't like Pottstown, then move.
Then move. I'll
Yeah,
buy
no time.
5, and can you donate them to the Fivers? Okay, man. Andrew Monaster's going to buy 5 T-shirts and donate
He's
them.
a former Fiver that moved into the Foe.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if Andrew, if you go to the top of the Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate Facebook page, you'll see that there's a pinned post there that has all the directions on how to order T-shirts. They're
Yeah,
20.
you can either Venmo me or email me.
They're $20 per shirt, and if you are ordering medium through extra large, and then there's a little bit of an little upcharge for the extra large, double X and triple X. But I did find that the shirts do run a little bit large. Sometimes the T-shirts run small, sometimes they run large. These ones do run a little bit larger.
Some of us are running small and some of us are running large right now.
I'm-
Depending on how we're handling the quarantine.
I'm down like 15 pounds. Like I had to like cinch in the belt a little bit further
That's
today.
fantastic. So what do you attribute that? Just
More
not
fishing?
eating out as much, not drinking as much beer?
I think it's going outside more.
Yeah.
I'm making
More
more.
time
I'm
to
making
walk.
more time to walk or go outside and go fishing. So that's definitely burning more calories. I'm eating all my meals at home, so
Yeah.
I'm preparing them.
Yeah.
And like so, for instance, I went and made one of those microwave popcorn bags the other day.
I had one last night.
And just because I haven't been eating a lot of salt, that thing
Oh, it
tastes
tasted really salty, too.
super salty because I'm used to eating out, like from prepared foods from
Yeah.
restaurants and carry out, and it's super salty. Now I notice that my tastes have changed. So
Right, just
I,
over the last 30 days.
yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
yeah, just from that, and I'm not drinking as much Wawa iced tea. I was good for sometimes
Like
4
the
of those a
pre-sweetened
day.
stuff?
Yeah, that's a lot of sugar.
sweet.
That's
Oh,
a
that'll
lot
do
of
it,
sugar.
man. Just cutting that out was probably good for 5 pounds right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, stress burns calories.
Stress burns calories
And
too.
I should be like 20 pounds down.
But you also, get your body flooded with toxins in addition to losing weight. So I'm not sure, it's going to create extra inflammation, which is the last thing you need.
Right. Mine, I'm balanced out. I haven't gained or lost. I'm happy. I'm holding steady.
I have you can't see them on the show just because of the way the show is set up, but Diane, I have Adirondack chairs that we're going to be using moving forward. I have a bunch of Adirondack chairs, but I appreciate the offer. But Diane Marcheski is saying that she's got 2 old wood Adirondack chairs. If somebody wants them, they can contact Diane and pick them up. I have 2 already. And if you look at our Porchcast logo, you will see those reflected in the logo. And Jason Morris, let me know when the new logo is out so that we can start working on that design. Who's the other dude? The other dude on the show is Kevin Smith.
Yeah, you can
Kevin's
go back and check the rest of the episodes.
Kevin's-
Joined us, what has it been, about 2 weeks now?
Something like
Yes,
that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Kevin.
All time is blending together.
Kevin joined us. Kevin joined us about 2 weeks ago, and Kevin is our geek squad, our technical department, and Kevin's really good at electronics and photography, and he helped us move from what I describe as rubbing stones together to make fire to launching the space shuttle. We're still trying to figure it out. There's
Yeah, we had a little bit of a
some
sound issue
weird
this morning.
some weird problem today that we can't pinpoint, but we overcame it. We just went back to rubbing
We
rocks
did
together.
exactly what we did yesterday, and for some reason,
It didn't work.
Yeah.
And then also my son Adam Green is the assistant geek to the Geek Squad. So we have there's
we have a
really
whole production team.
there's 3.5 members of Porchcast.
Mildly insulting to your son, but okay.
No, Kevin. Yeah, no. Mall rats. That's not.
A fiver, a Grover, or a hoodie. Andrew, Kevin lives right next door to me.
He's a hoodie.
He lives my tenant. Yes.
Kevin's a hoodie.
It's Kevin Smith, the dude from Mallrats. Yes, same name. The director, Kevin Smith. Yeah.
And Kevin.
Not the same guy. Same name, but not the same guy.
Due to Kevin's lifestyle and his career and some of his health problems, Kevin has been socially distancing for what you're saying, at least about the last year.
I mean,
not like fully, but like pretty, yeah.
More like because I've been working remotely, I'm sitting at home all day. It's like I don't see coworkers. I don't go out.
You occasionally go out for a bike ride.
Yeah. Which I still stay far away from everyone. So I just haven't been in contact with many people. So particularly since my sister's been working from home last week and I guess 2 weeks now.
2 weeks now, yeah.
So I'm like, at this point, even if I was exposed to it, there's basically zero chance that I have it in my system at this point.
Yeah.
So after having a very long conversation with Kevin about his practices on social distancing and the fact that I've been being very careful over the past couple of months, we decided that Kevin and I felt comfortable working around each other.
In that conversation.
Yeah, and there was a lot of whiskey involved. You'll have to go back and look at that.
That was a great show.
My tail.
It was funny for us.
It was funny. It was not that comfortable for me.
It was very amusing for me.
Oh my gosh, it's 12:05.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 3.5 staff of Porchcast. That's right.
What about me? I help. Yes, of course, Judy.
Yes, the executive producer. We're going to find a way to work the executive producer back into the show. We need to come up a way with where my mom is comfortable because I really need her to go into her mom role. Like, that's what I really need her to do on the show.
Yeah.
Is like remind me to tie my shoes and to take a shower and to be nice to the other kids and interrupt me in the middle of a conversation to tell me that she saw somebody that I knew from high school. Like, that's what I really need her to do.
Right.
But the camera just it freezes her up.
Right.
We'll work on something for you, Mom. Audra the Hammer Ross. Andrew Manostra can't find the link. I'll send it to you for the t-shirts. I'll send it to you right after the show, Andrew. Or I'm also willing to do this because you live nearby. If you just want to write me a check or give me some cash and just let me know when I can come swing by. Oh, now he got it. All right, you got it.
Yeah, we can make that arrangement.
Audra, I did talk about you earlier, and I did respond to your Facebook message. I'm plugged into that system that you're talking about, which is trying to increase food security throughout the state of Pennsylvania. I am plugged into that system through the Pottstown cluster, and I will be working on a specific project to try to help get the cluster the ability to bring in more perishable food items. Thank you for that information, though, Audra. And remember, everybody else, if there's information that you want us to share or get out for your organization or business, please let us know. We are taking business sponsorship, so if you have a business and you would like to sponsor the show, please contact Amy or I so that we can work on your business sponsorship. I ate some of the bacon from Paul Bacon from Society of Bacon. How many times did I say bacon?
Not enough.
Yesterday, the bacon was spectacular. It was really,
Which
really
one
good.
did you have yesterday?
I tried the savory one, which was made with pork shoulder rather than pork belly. It was bacon made from pork shoulder. So it's not as fat. It doesn't have as much fat, and it has more of a pork flavor to it. But it was good stuff nonetheless. And Paul was very happy with his show sponsorship. He told me he had 3 orders placed before the show was even over, and that is because we have dedicated viewers that like to help the community and help our show. So keep up what you are doing. We need that to keep happening.
All right, yeah, I gotta bounce.
How much does the sponsorship cost? I'm going to work on something with you in particular, Andrew Manostra. Me and you will have a conversation.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what just happened.
What'd you do?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Oh, you know what it was? It was Andrew Manostra.
Was he texting you?
No, I clicked on shut down the broadcaster.
Nope, I think we're still going.
Oh, are
your
we?
phone's going all crazy now. We're getting like an upshot.
Are we?
Yeah, of the ceiling.
So I got to get back to the.
We had like a major sound situation.
I could do a complete system wipe and reinstall just to see. That's something.
I have to check. The only thing that I might have saved locally is I'm working on a photo book from our trip to Japan, and it may be saved locally. Everything else, I back up to our network at work.
Because I was gonna say I could try to troubleshoot some stuff.
Matt, I think it's still shooting.
Yeah, I know, and I literally cannot get back to it. I literally cannot get back to it to shut it off.
Yeah.
Facebook is just so wonky.
All right. Well, I think you just shut it. Just close out of it completely.
I can't.
Close your whole Facebook app.
I got to shut down my whole phone.
Yeah. Now swipe up.